Good morning. I am P. Vijayalakshmi, Assistant Professor, Mechanical Engineering Department from Thandai Periyar Government Institute of Technology, Vellore. So today's class we will be discussing the frames under vehicle construction. We have already discussed chassis, and in today's lecture we will be discussing regarding the frames. So what are frames? So frames are the main skeleton on which all the chassis components are mounted. So it forms the backbone for taking all the load. So first let us discuss what are the various loads that are acting on the frame so that we will be able to design how the frame should be and what is the cross section of the frame should be. So the various loads acting on the frame are the vertical load due to the payload and the mountings, the loads due to the side winds and the centrifugal force which acts while the vehicle is turning around a corner. And if the vehicle meets a sudden pothole or bump, the loads due to impact, these also act on the frame. And due to the wheel camber, some loads will act on the frame. So the frame is supposed to take all these loads. So from this, we can come to the conclusion, what are the requirements of a good frame? So the frame should have good strength to withstand shocks, vibration and twisting. And it should also be capable to resist the distorting forces due to the road irregularities like bumps or potholes, etc. And it should bear the bending loads that is caused due to the weight of the passenger, the various mountings on it, etc. So all these are the requirements of a good frame. So we'll discuss what are the various types of cross section which are available. So there are various type of cross sections available. So here you can see the bending load, torsion load. So circular cross section takes torsion load better, whereas square cross section takes bending load better. So frames are mainly subjected to bending loads. So we design the cross section of frame in such a way that it takes up the bending load. So for better taking the bending load, preferable cross sections are I section, C section and box section, top hat section. These sections, so this is I section, so this is C section, top hat section and this is box section. So these sections, cross sections are capable of taking bending loads. Here again you see in the case of box section, the torsion load as well as bending load are very good. But the drawback while we take this cross section is the attaching other members becomes difficult. So with considering this fact, for ease of attachment of other members, we generally prefer C section, top hat section or I section. And among these three, the most preferable one is C section. So now we have discussed what is the cross section of the frame. So now let us see how a frame is being constructed. So a frame, here you can see a frame. There are basically two types of frames. One is called as the ladder type frame or box type frame and the other one is called as the X type frame. In both the cases, you can see that there are two longitudinal members. See, you can see there are two longitudinal members which are joined by cross members. So these are the longitudinal members and these are the cross members. So on these cross members you have the mountings and bushes which accommodate this particular is for supporting the transmission. So here you can see mountings for engine and at the rear you can see for suspension. Okay. So all these cross members are made up of pressed steel. Okay. So they may be either mild steel or nickel alloy steel. So the longitudinal cross member as well as the cross member, horizontal or the cross member, both are made up of mild pressed steel. So you can see here that the front portion is slightly narrow when compared to the rear portion. So this is done to create a smaller turning radius while turning curves. And the rear, generally a slight upswept is given. So this is for permitting movement of the wheels along in the axle casing. So you can see in this ladder type of ladder type of frames, you can see that it is having good bending resistance, whereas the torsional resistance is comparatively low. Whereas in the case of the X member frame, so the basic difference between these two is the center X member, which is X cross member, which is provided for supporting the various mountings on the frame. So in ladder type of frame, it gives good bending resistance, whereas the torsional resistance is comparatively low. Whereas in X type frame, you have good both bending as well as torsion. And generally these cross members are attached to the longitudinal members either by riveting. They are always permanent joints, so they are either riveted or they are welded. So with this we have finished a small discussion on frames. So we have seen what are frames. So frames are the main skeleton on which the components are mounted. We discussed about what are the various loads acting on the frame, and then we discussed about what are the requirements of a good frame. Based on this, we discussed about what are the various cross sections of frames that are available and what are the generally preferred cross section, and then we'll discuss about the frame, two types of frame, that is box type of frame and X type of frame. So in the next lecture, we'll discuss about the third part of the vehicle construction lecture, which is the body. Thank you.